So before we paint this into the picture of this is the panacea of all businesses and it's absolutely flawless, let's talk about what's the hardest part of running your company.
Outside of cash flow, let's say, like, and that's not really an issue anymore. But if I had to say over the last 7 years, what's been the hard part is cash flow. People. I think people is the best part and the hardest part. Mm-hmm. The brands we work with. So that account management side, that relationship building, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to get along. You both have to be on the same workflow, that part. And the people inside my team that I'm building. I'm not just a one-man show. I've got a team, learning how to be a leader, how to be a manager, how to get people in the right positions, how to hire and fire effectively, how to partner effectively, how to respond when you lose people to aggregators or bigger company than you. Mm-hmm. All that kind of stuff has been really the challenge for me.
And what are some of the things you're doing to try and combat that challenge?
Partnering with Flowster to help us get some more processes in place. Honestly, I guess I should let you guys know that I'm a user. I'm a new user, but I'm excited about it. And partnering with Flowster to get more processes in place, maybe to be able to onboard faster. So if we're losing people, how do we get someone new up to speed faster and be able to plug them in right away? So having SOPs, having process is something we're very focused on. I'm spending more time doing like informational interviews with people, maybe even before we're ready to hire. So I have kind of a pipeline of good people. That's been something. I've also been creating partnerships with people that do what I do. So that in case of scale or in case I lose someone, maybe I'm not making as much on that project, but I'm also not dropping the ball. And so knowing who I can go to in that way, studying myself on management and leadership as much as possible, so that's a handful of a few things, but trying to do a little bit of everything to see if we can just improve in a lot of areas.
So before we wrap, and I had a thought, and then of course, because I'm on cold meds today as we're recording this,
he's probably got some good creativity.
My brain is not as sharp as I wanted it to be, and darn it all, I forgot the thing I was going to ask you. So I am a little bit stuck. Your host.
No, let me just rehash kind of that last part and see if it comes to you. But I'm talking about people being the hard part of what we do, and we're in a time.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I gotcha.
So I did a call with an agency owner, and I do research calls with agency owners all the time. And I was asking this particular agency's owner, who's not in the Amazon space, he's a full service agency, and he's got one VA so far. Okay. And I said, how's that been working out for you? He says, it's amazing. I'm continually impressed by the quality of the work that the VA who we're paying, they've hired through an agency. So they're paying higher than normal you would pay. They're paying $10 an hour because the agency is obviously making a spread on the labor rate. But we just keep giving them more work, and we just keep giving them more work. And he says, now we're at the point where I am having a serious dialogue with my co-founder about every time we hire a new US worker, that worker gets their own VA, so that we have 16 hours of productivity per day for just a tiny little bit more money than we're paying for that first 8 hours of productivity. And so I guess the question I have for you, because I don't remember if I asked, how many people on your team are VAs versus North American workers?
So we have 6 in Colombia.
Okay.
The rest are here in Kansas City, 1 in Florida. So 18 in the US. And then we have a small team in India that fluctuates between 5 or 6.
And the folks there that are in India, what type of work do they do for you?
They do more of like research. Data research for SEO and things like that. Yeah. They're not our writers, but they put a lot of that work together. And I was going to India as well for design, and it just was not a great fit. And so I travel a lot. I had seen a lot of the, like in Colombia and some of those places in South, I think, Colombia's, Romania. Okay. I have yet to be there. I know some Romanians, but I have yet to visit. Just their culture, the barber shops, the restaurants, the small businesses all had amazing branding that you'd pay $20,000 for here in KC. And I was just like, when I started doing my search, I wanted to start there. So we found a couple of designers that I'm just absolutely in love with. And it's on our same time zone. So that's a big fix as well. That's a big win for us here as well, being in the CST time zone, just being able to real talk with our designers. And, I grew up in Africa. I grew up around the world. I feel like I'm a global citizen. I'm a dual citizen, Canada and the US myself. So I've always had that mindset. I just also believe in building team. And so for the longest time, I kind of had conflicting beliefs between, I feel like to run an amazing Amazon team, you need to be collaborative and be together and be sharing all your ideas. SEO teams talking to ad team and ad teams talking to creative team about getting custom headline ads. And, you're just pulling it all in together and really sharing that. But I would say more so I'm figuring out how to get VAs to be able to be in supporting roles of the team that I've already built in order to scale. And so getting more of a hybrid model every day, probably here at Marknology. We started all just right here in KC and built our team that way. And I've been adding VAs probably over the last 18 months. And it's been an awesome move.